All right. So I said specifically that I would not do another video on any topics because, I'm a video game channel. Obviously, I don't want to flood my channel with political views and stuff like that. It's supposed to be happy times and all that other stuff. But I think it's disingenuous to do a video on George Floyd and the initial reaction and everything like that and not talk about the current events as it's progressing. And a lot of people are definitely discussing and talking about the riots and looting that's going on right now. Now, I want to say one thing as I first start and everything like that is one really big important thing is that this has gotten out of hand. There's no doubt in my mind that this is out of hand, and I really hope by the end of this video that people will come to an understanding that the protests still need to happen, but they definitely need to be upgraded and they definitely need to be done better. They definitely need to be a lot of accountability on all ends. The whole reason why this protests are starting is because a man of many men, of many women, a black man was mistreated, as I said before. He was treated inhumanely, and his death was the end cause of what happened to him. And another really important thing is that I've also said is that even if he did not die, because a lot of people were like, what if he didn't die, or what if his death wasn't caused by the knee on his neck? I still think that the same things would be happening right now, because that is police brutality. That is the abuse of power, regardless, right? So what's going on now is that the protests have gone into many different states now. It's people doing their own little version of it, and that's where you start to come up to the people that are looting and rioting. And at first, I'll admit that I was saying, well, this is inevitable, and it kind of is. When you have probably thousands, possibly even in the millions. I'm pretty sure there's millions of people protesting in some way, shape, or form. Whether they're out there marching, whether they're posting on social media, whether they're making videos like me, whether they are destroying property and vandalizing, it's all part of it. It's all part of it. That's why if you see a lot of people that are defending that stuff, that's the reason why they're defending it, because it's all part of the protest. But the issue with it is that when you see parts of the protests that are pretty much being condoned in a way, and I think that's the only proper way, that people are condoning some of the behavior because it is part of the protests. It's part of the reason why everything is happening. You can't separate them too much. And with that, the reason why that's an issue, why that becomes a problem, is because it is 100%. Like you could say that it's affecting it a little bit, or you could say it's affecting a lot. I've talked to people where it's affecting it a little bit. They don't see too big of a problem with it. And I've talked to people that where it's been a huge problem. Now, I'm not going to accumulate a bunch of clips in here because I think that the biggest issue also is that I don't want to show you guys clips that show one narrative. And the issue with the media also is that they're showing one narrative, and then I have to get the other narrative from somebody else that thinks a little bit differently. Because if you sit there and you sit in your bubble, let's say in the whole aspect of being purely on the Black Lives Matter movement, and you're not really looking too much about the other side of it, you're gonna see clips of the cops harassing people. You're gonna see clips of the peaceful protests. You're gonna see a lot of that. You're gonna see as much positivity to support that narrative as possible. The issue, though, is that the negative side of it, which people have acknowledged exists. Like, I understand that there's going to be riots, that they're going to be not looting. I'm never going to support the looting. Looting is stupid. It makes absolutely no sense. And I think everyone needs to get on board with that, is that the looting is bad. It's really bad. And the fact that now I'm starting to see the looting, it's not like just me hearing that it's happening. I'm doing the research myself. I'm looking into it myself, and I'm starting to see how bad it is. To see that there are looting, like, not looting small businesses, right? Because at first all they were showing are these malls, right? That doesn't make it right, by the way. But they're showing these malls. They're showing these big places, and they're stealing shoes and shirts and things of that nature, right? But then when you start to see that they're also doing it to the mom and pop stores, they're also doing it to the pharmacy. I think that was the one that destroyed me the worst, is because I know how important a pharmacy, the local pharmacy, is to to a community. That's where they get their drugs. That's where they get a lot of stuff that they need. And I'm scared to think if they start to, get to the escalation of the fact that they might start doing it to, not, could be a hospital, that they might think that, this hospital needs to go down, for whatever XYZ reason. I think that the issue is that now people are getting afraid. Like, now it's the property owners. Before it was the malls, and the malls were just like, it is what it is. And that's kind of how a lot of people felt. What they robbed this spot. Yeah, it is what it is. But now you're doing permanent damage to the community. There's plenty of videos that are also supporting that as well. But like I said, that is also part of the protests. Now, I'm asking people to be somewhat understanding and forgiving at this point, is that don't let that looting distract you from the reason why the protests are happening, because the protests are meaningful. And I've talked to a couple people where they have lost the hope in the cause. And I know that for a lot of people, I've been seeing so many posts, and it's just like they are so passionate right now because the movement is so strong. It's getting so strong. It brought a tear to my eye how strong it is right now. But we cannot, and I'm speaking on behalf of the movement, we cannot allow these people that are rioting and looting in ways that are just going to diminish the cause so badly. And I know that the worst part about it is that those aren't even the protesters. They're not. Like, these people that are protesting, just in the basics of it, right? The people in the protests are protesting in the morning. A lot of the protests are done in the morning, in the evening, and things of that nature. It's almost like, well, the people that are doing it in the morning versus the people that are looting at the night, because they want to loot at night because they don't want to be seen. When you do a protest, most of the time you want to be seen. You want to be out there. You want to be shown that you are standing up for something. What's the point of doing a protest if no one knows who you are, and they can't see the different spectral colors of the skin that are out there? Because if you going in there with hoodies and masks and all this other nonsense, no one knows who the fuck you are, and you're running in and out of places, to the point where even if you were to even want to say that the looting is part of the peaceful protest or whatever like that, it's all accumulated. By the time you see the looting, it's broken windows, it's an emptied out store. It's who's taking credit for that? No one wants to take credit for it because they'll go to jail. Like, no one's gonna want to be like, well, that was me, we did that, yeah, we did it, yeah. No, because those people are completely different. They're assholes, and we need to be able to say that, because this is the same issue that we have with the police. We're having the issue with the police is that the bad cops, the good cops aren't speaking out against the bad cops. That was the whole thing, right? That was the whole thing, is that they're part of the problem. People that are being silent are part of the problem, right? That was the thing that a lot of people were saying. And even when it was this, well, now it's the 3rd, right? I'm recording this at 1 a.m. That was the whole thing, is that, we had the Blackout Tuesday, to talk about, how we can better, the cause and stuff like that. And I didn't see one post about stopping the looting and riot. I mean, they're telling people to stop it, right? But we need to, the same way that people are posting about, let's help this place, let's donate here, let's sign this, let's text this, let's call this. We need to start coming up a way, the people of the movement, the people that want the peaceful protest to work, and for the overall movement to work, we also need to stop the looting. And I thought of a couple ways. One of the biggest ways, I think, is that we need to start identifying where it's going to happen. It's very organized. There's groups of people that are coming together, and they're all looting a specific location. That's the way it looks like to me. That needs to not happen. That needs to stop. We need to have the police there on time, in advance, to deter, because right now there are people with guns, and they're going to start shooting people, and they're going to be justified in that. There are going to be more people dying and they are going to be justified in killing people because they think that they can loot under the guise of a protest, and it's really bad. Also, I also do not vibe well with the whole fuck the police thing. I don't. A lot of people that know me, not that to say that just because I have no issues or prior issues with the police. Now I have been profiled by the police a couple times. I spoke about it in the last video. But this is the exact reason when you see how fuck the police wouldn't work is because these people are looting. These people are destroying their neighborhoods, and the people that don't want the police around aren't even stopping them from doing that. Now, yes, some of the protesters were trying to stop the looting during their protest when they're out there protesting to not mess up the protest, but those people also aren't there at night stopping the looting. I hope that makes sense, because if you don't want them to stop doing it, there needs to be something that stops them. And you could say, hey, well, the police should handle it, but then you also can't say, well, fuck the police, because you need them. I personally think that the police is a necessary thing. If you want to say it's a necessary evil, then say it's a necessary evil. But at the end of the day, if there's an issue in my household, I don't want my neighbor necessarily to handle that, because my neighbor has a bias. He's gonna, they're gonna have some type of bias to the situation, or I don't want someone else to do it. I want someone that has authority to resolve the issue that also does not have a bias. Now, when a cop has a bias or a prejudice or something like that, that's where the stupid shit comes in, and that's what we're currently protesting against. Is that these people are not giving fair judgment. They are not doing what they're supposed to do. But we also have to keep in mind that there are cops that do that, and we can't be hurting them out there. I've seen that too. I've seen cops getting hurt for no reason. I've seen protesters get hurt for no reason. But the issue is that one side is only posting what helps the narrative. I've said this already. I'm repeating myself, but they need to post it all. That is the biggest issue here, is the media is fucking with everyone. They're fucking with the people that are protesting, and they're only showing them minor things. Those people are only clicking and seeing videos of the minor vandalism, the minor things of the cops. Or when you see a clip, I've seen so many clips now. Like you'll see a clip of a cop pushing someone over, right? Like, and then it'll be like, and this is me of a conscious mind, because when I first saw that, I'd be outraged too, right? You see a clip and it triggers you, because it's like, how the fuck did that cop do that? But we don't see the full clip, possibly when the cop was punched in the face maybe like 2 minutes ago before that, and then they started recording, or they only sent you the portion where the cop actually used excessive force. Now, same thing vice versa, right? You might see a clip of a person hitting a cop, and then the cops, they're using that and they're showing like, look at these savages, they're hitting these cops, and they're hurting them for no fucking reason, but they didn't show the clip of the cop hitting the person all over the face, and then now they're reacting to it, and then the camera starts rolling. That's the big issue, because people are we're not getting the full information of everything, and it's so hard for people to go deeper when their plate is already full. As soon as you got what you wanted, you're gone. You're like, let me eat that up, and you're gone. Not that many people are gonna sit back and actually look at everything, because that's the same reason why people can't sit back and still support the protests, even though the looting is such a small aspect of it. It is a small aspect of it. Because the protest is such a big thing, and that's why they keep harping on that the looting is such a small aspect. Yes, businesses are getting fucked over, but the protest, and that is why the people that were pro protest, they were so happy about it. But when they see that you guys are undermining the looting, they're losing their fucking minds, and it's so hard for them to then still want to go out there, and it's so hard for them to still want to promote that. And I can't blame them. I really can't, because I wouldn't like it if it was the other way around, because I've known what the other way around is. we've seen the other way around, and the other way around is like when the black guy dies, and there's just people out there trying to justify why he died. I don't want to hear that he shouldn't have he shouldn't have resisted arrest. That's his fault. He shouldn't have done that. Why did he run towards the guy with the shotgun? That's a dumb decision. No one wanted to hear that shit. So when you see these people looting and rioting, and you're not saying fuck no, that is unacceptable. We need to start making things. We need to start changing or adjusting our ways so we don't have to see that. So we can get back to what is really important. When they don't see that you're not talking about that at all, that's not good. That's not good. Like I said, like the riots, people like burning dumpsters and shit. That's what I thought that they were doing. I'm gonna be honest. I'll take my own responsibility, my own accountability of my lack of knowledge of things, and that's exactly why when when I first heard about the riots, I didn't make a fucking video within 2 seconds of saying, well, you know, it happens, because that's how I felt. Because all I heard was that they were rioting, and then the rioting is what I see was people being a little bit more pushy against police, and you know, that's I'm like, is that it? I mean, that's it. Then I started hearing that they're looting, and I'm like, okay, all I see is them looting malls, and I'm like, I mean, kind of dumb. They should really find a way to get around that. They should really do something about that. Now I'm seeing that they're fucking up like small businesses. They're fucking up pharmacies. They're destroying places in the Bronx, and now they're doing it on Long Island. I'm from Long Island, so when I hear that some of my coworkers don't know are afraid of going home, that sucks, and that is a tactic. And you know, you can also say that this was manufactured. I've seen that too, right? This is a manufactured elaborate tactic to get people to downsize the protests, whether it is or it isn't. Same thing with George Floyd, whether they meant to kill him or not kill him, wrong is still wrong, and you got to call a spade a spade. So I want to see, personally, I want to see some people help out stopping the looting. I don't think it should be solely on the business owners to defend their property. I think this is part of the protest. It's a stage, because this is a huge thing. You're talking about changing laws. These are things that are not going to happen overnight. There's things, as we've seen, because it's been technically years that we've been fighting for this. If you look at how many times a black person has died, and then they call for some type of reform and it doesn't happen, yes, and then it's happened over and over and over and over and over again. But when you finally get so much attention, when you finally get the ball rolling, you got to come back and tighten up those screws. The looting right now is just a little screw. You know, we got to go back and we got to fix that up. I've seen people say, oh, well, we'll rebuild those businesses. You know, we'll donate and rebuild the businesses. That's not going to help the cause, because no one knows that. You think those business owners are like out there? If they knew that everyone was going to help them rebuild their business, people would be like, well, you know, it's part of the cause. You know, everyone's going to send me thousands of dollars. You know, my GoFundMe. Like, they're not doing that. They're out there and they're pissed because they have no idea. And that's the same feeling that people have when they see a black man dead. They have no idea what's going to happen. That's the issue. There is no, you know, there is no guarantee that these places have insurance, or insurance of the level of like destruction. These places aren't getting burnt down, so it's not like they can be like, oh, there was a fire, I have fire insurance. These places are getting looted. Their merchandise is gone. And if you think for a second that the people that are looting, that are trying to make a message out of it, are going to return the shit that they stole after, you know, the law gets passed or something, like, oh, we stole all these fucking things from your store, but they just passed the law, so, you know, now I'm going to give it back. No, these people are most likely 9 times out of 10, they're dicks, and they're keeping that stuff either for personal use or to possibly sell or something of that nature. And it's ruining so much things. And it's the same way I know that the good cops feel like when they see these bad cops, and they're like, you are ruining us. You are ruining the police department. You like the fact that people don't want police. To me, like I said, I think that that's nuts. You need police, in my opinion. You can crucify me for that all day, but they're ruining the police department because when they don't, they're so selfish. They're so selfish in conducting their own form of justice instead of just going abiding by the law. That now you have people that are uneasy around cops. You have people that just fucking hate them. Like they just there's years and years of just built up hatred against police officers, and there are some that really want to change that. They want to change it from within. And I like good luck. Like I said, it's years of hatred that you're gonna have to get through, right? But I hope I'm making sense. And it sucks because this and the crazy part is that now business owners are now defending their lands, their lands, their property. They're some in some states. Remember, same thing with Ahmaud Arbery. There are states where you can defend yourself. I think like Texas, you can defend your property 100%. That's not what we're looking to do. The last thing that I was thinking about when we started the George Floyd protest is that, wow, maybe I should get a gun so I can defend my home in case they start deciding that the residential areas need to go up in flames as well. Like that's where people are going because they don't know how bad this is getting, because it is getting worse. And unless you start lighting a fire, no pun intended, but and if you got to start addressing it, you got to start addressing it. I really hope that once they start doing that, some of the people that have been led astray from the movement can come back, because we do need to fix police brutality. We do need to still get that out there. But this is a new development. The looting and the rioting, or the excessive rioting, the excessive use from the police in response to it. They're getting, some of them are getting punished. I know that there's some officers that are getting fired. There are people getting arrested, and that's good. It is good that the looters are getting arrested. If you're even saying, well, no, they need to be free, or something like that, no, 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 no. The looting has to stop, 100%. As I said, like, you're destroying your own community. I was like, you know what, you mark up a building, you put a couple, you vandalize it with some stuff, you bust it up a little bit, but once they started stealing, is you can't validate that. And a lot of people don't. They don't think that it's a good thing, but they just understand. And that was my thing, is that I understood why it was happening. It was an unfortunate thing, but it's like I said, it's part of the protest. It's part of it. Because it's only happening because of the protest. They're taking advantage of it, which is horrible. They're using a situation that is supposed to breed good, and they're taking that and fucking it up. And they don't think about it, because like they've said, and if you watch all the news, it's a lot of young people, because they're seeing rioting and looting in like Minneapolis. They're seeing it in one state, and where the vandalism actually might have a meaning behind it. It might have a thing about it. But when you go take it even to places like in New York, where people are just starting to protest, like other states are just starting to protest, and then you just start looting at night when there's no protest going on. It's just looting, just pure looting. There's no, like, it would even make sense if you would have it like they went out, got the people on the speakers speaking up, and it's like, you know what, if you guys don't do this XYZ, we're gonna bust open this store. No, they're just going in, sneaky bullshit, and you're just like bragging out. Like, people are now having to board up their businesses. People are now gonna be unable to probably open back up. They don't have any merchandise. Like, and it's response of the fact that, and I do agree with people that are saying it's because it's seemingly being condoned, because people understand it, and it sucks because I understand it. But if it was to escalate to this level, and it's gonna escalate until people start getting shot, and I think there's already been 2 confirmed deaths, right? I forgot what state it is. 2 confirmed deaths. People trying to swarm a store, and the store owners defended. And it's not even a police thing. It's not even police versus protester rioters. It's literally protester rioters, looters versus store owners. Now the people are having to defend themselves. And I don't think that they understand that. They just think that if they cause some type of ruckus, they cause the people that are still trying to, the people still trying to do it for the protest, are just trying to cause havoc. And that makes sense. That aspect of it makes sense. Just cause havoc, run amok, show that there is, like they say, no justice, no peace. That you will not feel comfortable in your surroundings until you guys fix this shit. That makes sense. Stealing a bunch of shit just doesn't. That's not really. It just doesn't connect the same way. Like even like I said, tagging a bunch of shit. They're burning cars, man. Like I just I'm looking into the Bronx, and they're burning cars. And I'll be even more honest, is that maybe it's because it's come to New York that it makes more sense to me. And that happens. I feel like I'm guilty of that. But if I, let's say they start sending people back for coronavirus, like, coronavirus is gone now, everyone's just out there protesting, right? People go back to, like, now you're gonna go back to work. One, the place that you worked at might be destroyed now, and then two, now first, people weren't gonna be comfortable going back to work because they were afraid they're gonna get corona. But now you got to think, like, you park your car next to the store, and then you work that late shift, and then they just put your car on fire. No, that ain't it. We need to they need to we need to do better. We need to do better to make the movement as clean as possible. And you can't stop it 100%. I would like to think so. I would like to hope so. But realistically, you can't control everyone that's motivated positively, or I guess negatively, but more selfishly, I guess I would say. You can't stop those people. You can have them stopped by the police and by the store owners, but they're still creating negative media, negative press. And the whole reason why this has gone out is because of the power of social media, the power of, when people can see everything. And but now other things are going out, and it's terrible. The narrative of, the police hurting people versus, the people hurting police, those are two sides of the same coin, and they need to show both, and so both sides can see that we need to do better on that. I think most people can agree with me on that, right? That if they saw that both things were happening, that they can come together and agree that we both need to stop this, because the bigger issue, because like I said, the police don't want to deal with that shit anymore. The people don't want to deal with that shit anymore. Police want to do good police work for the most part. At least a good cop. The people want to not have that same thing where you have to remember that the people aren't arguing, or at least they shouldn't be. But the whole point of it is that it's not that the police need to back away forever. Is the fact that the police need to be properly disciplined when they fuck up. Just like how these looters are being disciplined when they're fucking up. They're gonna go to jail. They're gonna get their, a lot of them are getting arrested, and like they're getting serious fines, because they fucked up. I just hope that I'm talking in circles. How long have I been talking? Oh God, it's 30 minutes. Oh God. I'm gonna edit this down. I gotta edit this down, take out the loop-de-loops and shit like that. But at the end of the day, I hope I make a point, because it's, again, I think it's my last video on this. It's sad. It's fucking sad. And the whole aspect is that we need to talk to more people that feel indifferent about this. We definitely need to speak up, and that's what I did. I talked to some people that have more close associations with police officers, and that broadened Jesus, broadened my horizons a little bit to how it's looking for their end. And now I'm seeing, when I saw, what was it, to take away funding from the New York Police Department, when these officers, some of these officers are gonna probably have to work around the clock and morning when the protest is, to make sure that the protests are going smoothly, which for the most part they are, and then they're gonna have to also work at night because there's people looting. And to see that they wanna not like to take away the funding of that, just it kind of tears me a little bit. It's like, that's not the problem. The problem is the lack of punishment. Don't punish the good cops out there. You can't also do that. You can't punish the good cops, because if there's all this legislation actually goes through and we get these laws passed, the good cops, nothing happens to them. They're gonna be like, awesome. Like, thank God. But when a cop gets arrested and then multiple cops get arrested for any corrupting acts or anything like that, the good cops are gonna be like, thank God, get that guy the fuck out of here. He had too much protection, couldn't do anything. If I speak out about it, I lose my job, which has happened to cops. They speak out, they lose their job, and then their names aren't like plastered all over the place when they speak out. A lot of people want them to, but they don't. They get forgotten, just like how people feel like the black people that die get forgotten. They lose their job and nothing. So that's probably why they don't speak up. There's no safety cushion for that. It's better to just to have your own opinion about it, call that guy a dick, a piece of shit, and go on with your job. That's probably what most of them do. So once again, things need to change. Things need to change, man. Once again, I won't be doing daily updates on this issue. I'll be doing updates once there is significant amount of information. Like I said, I'm not trying to be biased. My bias is obviously that I want things to change, because I would like that if I get arrested or if I get fucking pulled over, that I'm not gonna fear for my life because I'm black. That's my stance on it. That's gonna be my stance on it for pretty much forever. But at that same time, I'm not gonna condone looting of that nature. I'm just not gonna condone that. I think that more people need to come out and say that. I think that the issues are being swept under the rug, and it is causing a divide amongst the people that are giving you support. It's really hard to explain it, but when you see people protesting and then you show them how bad their community is getting fucked over, and then you say like, well, what about this? Are you guys going to address this? And then people are like, no, this is more important. And then like, it is important, but so is that. The looting is also important. It's part of everything. I've said that like 20,000 times. It's all put together. So you cannot ignore it. You must address it. We need to nip it in the bud so we can move forward and continue to make really, really good strides. They're making so many good strides. That's all. Not much more I could say. Anyway, like I said, what I normally do in this channel is video game stuff, so you can follow, subscribe for that. This video will not be monetized in any sort of way, as I do not want to make money talking about current events. No. It just makes me feel icky. It's a video game channel. That's not how that works. So yeah, feel free to comment in the section below. I'm not muting any comments. If you feel some type of way, be respectful. All right, then I'll delete you. If you're calling people idiots, dumbasses, stuff like that, I will delete your comment. I want to have discussion. I feel like I was pretty fair in what I say, so I hope I can get that in the comment section as well. So if people happen to click on this video, that they can see discussions from both sides, both angles, because that's what we need. We need people talking to each other in a productive way.